Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X-Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X-Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X-Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X-Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X-Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X-Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X-Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X-Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Heart Radio with Dan and Ann. We're coming to you tonight on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. And tonight, we're going to be discussing how you can change your world one thought at a time, starting now. Wow. And tonight, we're so excited to have our guest is going to be AJ Cannon on the show with us tonight. And Angela, would you do the introduction with our guest tonight?
I will, Dan. All right, our guest is AJ Cannon-Dalbey. AJ Cannon-Dalbey is the mother of 6 children as well as many grandchildren, but also known to children around the world as Mrs. Noah. She's an incredible artist, and I mean incredible, portrait and caricature. She is the author of 16-plus books and is currently working on her first novel, a mystery fiction conspiracy adventure set in the end times. As Mrs. Noah, AJ Cannon-Dalbey is constantly creating new stories and support programs for children and works to bring fun and love into learning God's Word. She is very excited about her new website called childrenareforever.com being recreated now so that it will bring talking stories to the children wanting to learn more about God. She has been featured on radio and TV as a guest and has been a speaker as well as a teacher at many conferences and much more. Lastly, I'm proud to say that she's also my mother. Welcome, Mom, and everyone else. AJ.
Welcome.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Yeah, and AJ, what we love, the type of people we have on our show are the type of people that can bring, their experience, their experiential lifelong learning into the conversation. And what I love about you and Angela love about you is that you're a lifelong learner, and you're a student and you're a teacher, and you're still learning and you're still teaching. And I think that's beautiful that you've stayed open, and I think people like you have a lot to share. So tonight, I just want to ask you, this is an interesting subject, how you can change your world, one thought at a time, your whole world, our whole reality. You can change that. So I guess my first question I want to ask you is, how did you get started on this journey to understanding these links between the mind, the thoughts, the body, the mind-body connection? Where did all this begin for you, AJ?
Wow, that's a big question, Dan. Like you say, it's a lifelong learning thing. And one thing I've learned, the more I know I don't know. When I was 16, I knew everything, right?
Right.
I had it all together, and as I've gotten older and older and older, I find that that there's still so much to learn. You know, I'm just blown away by the time. Well, anyway, I'm still here and I'm still learning. But years ago, I had an experience. I had a cousin. She actually died a couple years ago at 85. But I just really loved her. She was a model. I just really admired her tremendously. She went on to school and became a medical doctor. So years later, and me and my kids and all that, a friend's husband actually got skin cancer on the side of his face, and they did surgery, and they hit a nerve, and they damaged the side of his face. So his face was all contorted, and it was devastating to him because he was a good-looking man. And several of us got together, and we wanted to reach out and help them. So I went to Jean, and I said, Dr. Jean, what can I do? Is there anything I can read to give him information to help him battle this cancer? And she said yes, and she recommended a couple of books. And one was about a man that was a diplomat, and he had gone over to Russia for some meetings, and their hotel was above the street where they had the military vehicles going back and forth, and the fumes came up. Well, it created a problem for him that disconnected his joints. It attacked his connective whatever.
Oh.
And they got it back. He got really sick. They couldn't figure out what it was. Finally did figure out what it was. And they said, sorry, there's nothing we can do to help you. It's terminal. You know, they had no answers. So he started, while he was in the hospital, he started reading and studying, and he found that the medicine they were giving him to kill the pain, because they said that's all we can do is give you painkillers, that was making his problem worse, and he was dying faster.
Oh, wow.
So he went to his doctor, and he said, listen, I'm dying anyway, so will you work with me and let me try something? And the doctor said, nothing to lose. So they put him in a hotel near the hospital, and they started giving him vitamin C drips. And he couldn't take any pain pills. So what he found was laughter. You know, you've heard laughter is the best medicine.
Yes.
He used laughter. People sent him jokes and videos, all the stuff. So his laughter, well, that's our mind. That's our thought. That's keeping a positive thing going. So that just was a little click right there for me. And as years went on, and a life that was challenging, another friend of mine a few years ago, she also got cancer, and she did everything. She did the juicing, the foot soaking. She did she didn't go the medical route. She wanted to do it natural. And juicing, oh my goodness, that lady, just her whole life, her whole day was constantly doing all these things. But the one thing she did not change was her mind, her thinking, her that did not change. She still held on to resentment, fear, that kind of stuff. Well, then I read, Dr. Jean again was recommending, I got a hold of the materials from Louise Hay. And I listened to her tapes. This was before CDs. I listened to her tapes, and one day I was on my way to work, and she said, "You have to love yourself." And I remember crying and yelling at her, saying, "How can I do that? I have messed up so much. How could I do that?" And so that was a wonderful part of my journey as I saw. If you're familiar with Louise, she got involved in AIDS.
Yes.
They came to her and asked her if she would help these AIDS patients. They had no clue. It was a new disease. They didn't know how to treat it. They had all these people that were sick, and they didn't know what to do for them. And Louise didn't either. If you've seen her materials, she didn't know what to do. The only thing she knew is to talk, listen, and love them. and
And you know
try to teach them to love.
And you know what else she was doing was
But
every time she met anyone that she would always document what kind of things were going on in their life. And she started putting together kind of like a medical dictionary, if you will, that had to do with the mind body connection. So what was going on in with their life that was so she looked for common denominators and then came up with this incredible, like, medical dictionary for herself that showed like this particular thing that you do all the time seems to be producing this. So with the AIDS patients, she realized that the way I look at it, the way my wording is that they had low self-esteem. So she's trying to help them to begin to love themselves and really unconditionally love themselves. And that's what she noticed about all of them had that problem, it seemed to her. So that's how come she tackled it with regard to loving themselves. So that was interesting, you know.
yeah, my little book is almost worn out.
Yeah.
I've got a little small version of it, and anytime anybody calls me, I go to the little book and I open it up and I say, "Oh, you got this problem, huh?"
Yeah.
What it does, her little book just kind of gives you clues that what it might be if you're dealing with something.
Mm-hmm.
But it is amazing. Our minds are just so incredible. The more I learn, the more I see, the more I understand. We are creating our lives one thought at a time. And that's what Dr. Caroline Leaf brought out. We are creating the one thought at a time. When I first heard that, I thought, wow, that means I can do something right now.
Yeah.
I don't have to go through a program or this or that. I can start right now with my thoughts right now. And so what I came up with was a little kind of mantra. I love and accept myself. I think that's one of Louise's statements. And I love and accept myself. So when I would feel my heart doing flip-flop, feel my blood pressure going up, I would say, I love and accept myself. I could feel my whole body starting to ease. Until I even did it with allergies. I started sneezing. If you remember, I used to have allergies really bad. And I started saying, I love and accept myself. Well, in Louise's book, she pointed out that allergies can be an irritation with someone close to you. Mm-hmm. Well, who is the person who irritates me the most? Me. Mm. I get very irritated with myself. Yes. And so that's what I came up with. And it's just been amazing how I've really been challenged to actually live what I believe. Not just believe it, because there's two things. You can believe it and not do it. Or
I love the idea. I love the idea that you start with yourself, and I love the thought that we're going to change our world, because I know we've tried to, if anybody's ever tried to change somebody else's world, it's really hard. But anyway, I just want to tell you, AJ, Angela, we're going to have to take a commercial break, but we'll be back with AJ Cannon coming up right after the commercial break.
You can learn more about our guest by going to her website, www.childrenrforever.com, or contact her at children4ever@gmail.com. You're listening to Heart to Heart Radio Show on the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. You can learn more about our show by visiting hearttoheartradioshow.com or check out our personal website, prodigaljourneys.com. And again, we'll be right back after the commercial break.
It's hard to listen to the news without realizing we're living in volatile, unprecedented times. Yet never has there been such an opportunity to transform the human condition. As old structures fail, where can we find the guidance to co-create a better way? Find Your Path Home is an ever-evolving, leading-edge information, education, and healing resource center designed to support and guide you on your path to unity and enlightenment. Based on sound principles employed by shaman worldwide, we provide techniques that can support you through the current transitions, offering online shamanic classes, international long-distance shamanic healing sessions, complimentary Mission Evolution radio episodes and Stairway to Heaven TV vignettes, seminars, retreats, and much more. All of this can be found on findyourpathhome.com.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she'd come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me. simultv.com, sonny boy.
simultv.com.
simultv.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
simultv.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. simultv.com.
All right, we're back. Tonight our guest is AJ Cannon, and our topic tonight is on how you can change your world one thought at a time, starting now. I love that, starting now. I think that's so wonderful. But the question I want to ask you, AJ, I think of this as like a technology or maybe even a practice that, like you said, it could take a lifetime. So my question that I want to ask is like, where do you begin? I mean, say I'm an alcoholic, I'm a sex addict, I'm a whatever, I'm an angry man. Where do we start? Where would we tell our listeners to start? What's the first thing we say or do to get this process working so we can begin to change our life today?
That's a good question, Dan, because what happened to me, I'd read a lot of books. I've got some books. You guys gave me a really good book several years ago, Love Yourself. But what happened, I started having symptoms about 5 or 6 years ago. And I'm not into symptoms, so I really kind of ignored them. And I noticed when I go to conferences, I was getting a little weaker and having a little more difficult time. And so finally, when I finally got the doctors to say, well, your EKG and your blood pressure and the, what's that other test they did? Anyway, they said, you're really in danger. Well, I'm not, again, into medical doctor stuff, so I had to look at myself. And so I was looking at Caroline Leaf's book, and the first thing she did, and she's, okay, you need to take an inventory. Every night, think about what you've been thinking about, examine, because I did not realize that I was worrying as much as I was. I did not realize it. Wow. Everything. I mean, I was worrying about everybody. My husband is dealing with blood sugar issues. So I worry about his diet. My children, I've got a lot of them. I hear about this and I hear about that. I was always worried about something. And then, of course, the political thing. I started doing political cartoons and found they were not good for me because I learned too much. And I got too involved with the political stuff. But that's what I did, Dan. I started doing an inventory, double checking me. What are you thinking about? Because I wasn't paying that much attention. I have a quick mind. I mean, it goes blah, 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 drives my poor husband crazy because he's an engineer. And so his thinking is a totally different direction than mine. Of course, then I'm a woman with all the wires connected. But I'm constantly doing stuff and thinking stuff and designing stuff. And
I love that. I love that where you said take an inventory. And I also like the thought that we get so busy, we don't know what's going on. We're not paying attention to ourselves. And from what it sounds like, the thoughts can actually hurt us. I mean, they can actually destroy us and make us sick, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they not only hurt us, but those around us. You don't realize it. Our thoughts are not just confined to our brain. They emanate into the room. Have you ever walked into a room and it was dead and there was nothing going on. And then somebody walks in the room and, hi, they bring their energy in with them. Oh. And we've had, I got to tell you, my husband and I have had, we laugh about it, but our marriage has been difficult. We've struggled a lot, and we don't fight. We don't fight at all. But I finally realized that I was resenting some things, and he was hearing them, even though I never said them. I could smile and say, yes, honey, of course I'll get that for you. But inside, I was not happy. He was hearing what was inside.
Yeah.
I had a phone call just a couple of weeks ago from another daughter, and she was really struggling with something, and I just pointed out to her, change your thinking. Try it. Won't hurt, because if you realize everyone in the room can hear what you're thinking. In fact, from what I've been reading, people can hear it from states away. I mean, our thoughts, that's why prayer is so powerful. Because if you're praying with energy, now there's thoughts and there's thoughts, okay? If you're negative, oh, that poor John, he lost his job again, poor John. That's exactly what's going to happen. That negative stuff, instead of saying, wow, look at John, he's so excited about possibly getting a new job. And, our thinking, and so that Jake, he goes along with that. So everything I'm reading tells me we have so much power in our thoughts. We don't realize. We don't.
We really, really don't. It's like, I just think that, unfortunately, a lot of us have been trained in our religions and in our homes since we were born, just to believe that, we just everything's in God's hands. But, I was trying to realize that God's put a lot in our hands. And I mean, he said, for example, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. He didn't say, I will. He said, be ye. Be. So we have some responsibility. And bring every thought captive, right, to Christ, so that, like Dan says, so it can be examined in the light of reason, so that you look at it, So we do have responsibility. So, and we also, if we think positively, God says rejoice and be thankful, and all these things that are said throughout the Bible. Well, if we did that, I think that everything would be totally different. We will have created something completely different. Yeah. But we're creating whether we realize it or not, right?
Yeah. Whether we realize it or not, exactly. There's a scripture that talks about the bride making herself ready.
Yes.
We have a big responsibility. We're making choices every second. We choose whether to think positive or negative. The thing I've learned, though, is that once you get tuned in to a negative flow, it affects everything. Your health. I mean, our body, every cell in our body hears every thought. It feels every emotion. So it isn't just thinking; it's actually feeling. Your thinking has to go with your feelings. I went to a program years ago. In fact, that's where I met my husband 20 years ago, called Psi. And one of the things in there that they teach is energy. That's a big deal. So they got us, we're coming to the room, we're getting, everybody's sitting, okay, everybody up. And I want you to jump up in the air and say, I'm excited, I'm excited, I'm excited. The whole room changed. Wow. We revved up our energy. We changed it. In fact, I think I'm working on my novel, and the key to that whole novel is our minds and the power that we can bring not only to ourselves and our family, but this one book I read, a guy we just really think the world of, he was saying that he believes our thoughts are affecting the earth, that we actually, with all the wars and the anger, we're actually creating the hurricanes. We're creating the earthquakes because of all the anger. I mean, look what happened with Noah and the ark. All of that evil and all of that, everything that was going on in that world, and then the whole thing blew up. Well, that wasn't just, there was just a lot to it. I have no clue how much, but I know that there's a whole lot going on that we do not comprehend.
Well, yeah, I mean, don't you know that when the Twin Towers fell down, that the whole world, I mean, it just kind of spread like a virus across the world. And we were watching this Billy Phillips thing last night, and I forgot who was this singer. I think it was Dan who was singing, and it was showing how the energy was going out from the singer and broadcast on the radio, maybe even on TV, and it was just spreading to this city and then that city and then that, and it spread out literally where it was like covering practically half the earth just from him singing these songs, and it was affecting everything because it spread out. Like maybe this person sent, he was watching it live and he was sending it to so and so, and then so and so sent it to so and so, and then that energized that person, and that affected the next person. It showed that energy going out from one place to another. And it was the coolest thing. I mean, it's kind of like the Twin Towers. That negative energy spread like a wildfire, like a cancer. And it is hugely important that, we check our emotions, I guess, put it that way. You know what I mean? And
it's amazing to me. God has allowed us to have that kind of power. And like you said, we can see the destructive nature of it just with hating each other, hating other countries, other worlds, just hating, and the destructive nature of destructive thoughts and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, the power, I was just reading that today in Caroline Leaf's book, one of her books, is that the power of positive love will overcome the evil. It is just not as powerful. The evil is not as powerful. The negative is not as powerful. We were designed to love and be loved.
Wow.
Now that changed. That changed. When the evil came in, when the choice came to go against our Creator and to accept that rebellion, and that's what it was, it changed. But we were designed to love, and that's why love is our healer. Love is everything. It's what's going to heal this earth when we're finally able to.
That's amazing. And I guess, after our little break here, I just want to ask AJ, how long does it take? What's required of us? It sounds like a big commitment, but it don't sound like we have an alternative. We're either going to get sicker or we're going to get better. So, all right, hey, we got to take a commercial break, but we'll be back with AJ Cannon, and our topic tonight is how you can change your world one thought at a time, starting now.
And you can contact our guest by her email, which is children4ever@gmail.com. Her website is childrenrforever.com. You've been listening to the Heart to Heart Radio Show with Dan and Ann on the X Zone Broadcast Network. That's www.xzbn.net. Our website is Heart2Heart Radio Show. That's TWO.com. We'll be right back after the commercial break.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, They conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
All right, we're back. We've been talking with our guest tonight, AJ Cannon, and we're so glad you joined us tonight. We've been talking about you can change your world one thought at a time, starting now. And AJ, I'd just like, if we could, Angela, just pick up where we left off about this commitment. It doesn't sound like it's a snap of a finger. We're talking about getting sicker, getting better based on our thoughts. And we know we have a lot of thoughts. We don't just have one thought. Like AJ said, we have millions of thoughts. And we're trying to, like you said, Angela, bring these thoughts captive. So it sounds like we have to make a commitment. Am I right there that we have to make a commitment to these thoughts, right?
Yes, we do. And you know what, Mom, I know you wanted to talk about forgiveness and how important that is. I thought maybe we might go down that vein because Wayne Dyer, you know, he was big into that. He went through a lot where he was in an orphanage and his dad left when he was a kid. And so really young, and same with his brothers and sisters. And he had to do that forgiveness work. And it was a big deal for him. And he kind of hung on to this saying that says, forgiveness is the fragrance that the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it. And that was by Mark Twain. And he had an image of that, and it meant a lot to him. And I think that, you know, if we can forgive, that's another aspect of the body healing, and can stop us from the healing that we need. You know, if we harbor some unconscious resentment, because sometimes we think we've got everything all going on. I'm saying all the positive affirmations and all of that, but there's this underlying stuff. Go ahead, Mama. What you want to say about that?
You know, forgiveness is such a big thing. And because I think you forgive, it depends on the issues, of course, in layers. I had something happen to me recently. My father left when I was 3, I think, and he remarried, and his wife did not like us kids, so he was not a dad at all. And even gifts, she eventually got him to move to Texas. So we never saw, I didn't see him. And then about 30 years ago, I heard he was going to have heart surgery. And heart surgery, remember, that's pain. That's stuff that my dad had a broken heart.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He was not in control of it. He let her control his life. So I heard he was having heart surgery, and so I got in touch with him through his sister helped me, my aunt, and I talked to him, and he cried. And if I start crying, I'm sorry. It's very touchy for me. But he said, Nita, he always called me Nita, I'm sorry. He said, there's things that happen that you just don't know. And I said, it's okay, Dad. We'll talk, when you get through this. Well, Dad died. And I never got to work through it with him. It was real hard. I mean, here I thought for the first time I was going to have a relationship with my father, and it didn't happen. Well, about a month ago, I got a call out of the blue. I mean, out of the blue. Dad died 29 years ago. 29 years. And I had no clue what was still inside of me. But that phone call really helped me a lot. But I got a call. My brother's got one too. My dad, before he died, had gone to his son and said, I know your mother will never let me leave anything or do anything for my children. So when she's gone, he said, there's plenty for everybody. They did have money. And he said, when she's gone, will you take care of my children? And he called us 3 days after his mother died at 95.
Wow.
I mean, 29 years ago, it was like my dad reached out of the grave and hugged me. I cried for 2 days. It was incredible. For a whole week, I'm rich. Dad left me a lot of money. It did turn out to be a lot of money. It was nice, but it was a lot of money. Not like I was hoping it would be. But I had fun with it. And I learned about myself too. What would I do if I had a lot of money, But I found out what I wouldn't do. There's just a lot of people I would love to help and do things for, but going on trips and buying fancy things is not my deal. But the forgiveness was there. But look at that, 29 years, and I cried for 2 days. All that emotion I did not know was still. I didn't know. And so forgiveness is just like what you've heard of peeling an onion. You peel off a layer and you say, oh, thank you, Father, I've been able to forgive that person, or they've forgiven me, or whatever. But it really isn't all gone yet. You think it is, but that's all you can do. It's just ask God to open up doors and help you heal, because that healing is really important for our health.
And also to ask. Go ahead, Mom.
Go ahead.
Just ask.
Once you make the decision that you want to, that starts the ball. And people will come in your life. Books will come into your life. Once you make a decision and say, I'm going to do this, I can do this.
Yes.
It starts the ball. It might take you a long time, because it takes years to build up these things.
Yes.
It's not going to go away like an aspirin in your head. It takes time.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Louise Hay, she went through that vaginal cancer, because she said that I had a lot of childhood rapes and abuse, and wouldn't you know that my cancer would go right there, right? It made sense to her. And she said that mainly the mental causes for cancer is resentment, deep resentment. You know what I mean? So interestingly, she realized that she needed to detox her body, her mind. She needed to do forgiveness work. So she studied the background of her parents and found out the crazy life that they had. Well, how many of us take that time to think about what our parents actually went through back in that time, and considering also the time they lived in, the way that they treated women back then, just these different aspects of what they had to go through. And if we really understood what our parents actually went through and the way that they were raised, it's different than we are today. And how they thought about women even, and on and on and on. We would look at them differently, because, but there's so many people suffering with that, but anyway, what's cool is she did that work, and 6 months later, she went back to the doctor and said, I want you to test me again. And she got him to agree that she no longer had cancer. And so she went on telling everybody, you can change your mind. You can do your forgiveness work. You can heal. So that's cool.
And a thought I'd like to throw out there, guys. This is a strange question, and you guys could maybe help me answer it. But where do we end and God begin, or God begin and we end, or are we always working with God? Because, I just remember times, and I know people that don't even know they're stuck. They don't even know they're living in this nature of being a victim, and they're always telling their story, and they don't even know it. They're not even aware of it. So I guess my question I want to ask for people that are listening is, how much do we do? How much does God do? How does it work together? Could you guys help me with that? AJ, some idea of where God picks up or where we start? Do we start with the prayer?
I remember a minister years and years ago. Angela, I think you went to school with his daughters, the Hay girls. If you remember her. And somebody asked that question of Dr. Hay, how much is God involved in our lives? And, I loved his answer, as much as we want him to be.
Oh,
and
love that.
I think that he is in everybody's lives. You see him do miracles. Sometimes it's just weird stuff happen, and it was him. And other times somebody really needs his help, and he doesn't help. Why? And I think there's something far deeper than what we understand in our commitment to him. He knows our heart. And if he sees your heart, oh, yeah. Remember the Revelation, it talks about he wishes that people would be hot or cold, but not lukewarm. How many people are walking around today lukewarm because they don't really believe him? They say they believe him, but they don't really believe him. And I have to look at myself first, because how much do I really, really, really believe him? When he says this and I read a scripture, do I really, really believe that, or do I kind of believe that? It's a nice little saying, but I don't really live it. So how am I believing it if I don't live it?
Right.
I'm working really hard on that right now. As I'm writing this book, I can't talk to the kids or adults or whoever ends up reading my book. I can't talk to them about increasing their thoughts, their positive thoughts and loving thoughts, and the power in their thoughts if I'm not walking it. And if I don't walk it, how can I even test it out? He is testing us every day. Do we believe him? And I fall very, very I fall short. How much am I able to believe him?
That's a great, great thought there, AJ. And Angela and I were just talking about that the other day, the very thing you were talking about. And I want to pick that up right after the commercial break. But we're going to have to take a commercial break. But when we come back, we'll continue our discussion with our guest tonight, AJ Cannon Mary, it says. Whose website is www.childrenareforever.com, or you can contact her by going to her email at children4ever@AOL.com.
And you're listening to Heart to Heart Radio Show at Dan and Ann on the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. For more information about the Heart to Heart Radio Show, visit heartradioshow.com. We'll be right back.
They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
So I was watching the X Zone TV channel last night when I was abducted by aliens, and they kept repeating to me over and over again, simultv.com, simultv.com.
What's simultv.com?
That's what I asked them. They had it written on the side of their UFO.
How do you spell that?
UFO.
No, I mean simultv.com.
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 Right. simultv.com.
Interesting that you were abducted by aliens in a simultv.com UFO last night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I remember now last night I was awakened from a deep sleep. My great-grandmother was standing there. She said she come from the hereafter to tell me about simultv.com. She even spelled it out for me.
SIMULTV.com, sonny boy.
SIMULTV.com.
SIMULTV.com, sonny boy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys, you'll never guess what my psychic guru just told me.
SIMULTV.com.
Exactly. Are you guys psychic too?
Of course.
We all know about simultv.com. SIMULTV.com.
All right, we're back. You're listening to Heart Radio show with Dan and Ann. And our guest this hour is AJ Cannon. Her website is www.childrenareforever.com. Or you can reach her at her email at children_forever@AOL.com. And we're talking about tonight how you can change your world one thought at a time, starting right now. And I just want to pick up, if we could, AJ, where we left off. I think you were making just such a fabulous point. And the point, I think it's a sin for somebody to go into a church and just say, I believe, and it's all over. I just think what you're talking about, what Angela's talking about here, is responsibility, working with God. It's not just saying, I believe and I'm done. It's all been done for me. And I hear that so many times in the church. And you know what I see in the church? A lot of empty people. And I guess so. I love that thought that you're saying we gotta move into this. We gotta get serious about it. And what else I love about it is there's magic in it. This is real stuff we're talking about here. And what I wanted to ask, if I could, and Angela, if I missed something, let me know.
Okay.
But can you use this, AJ, for other conditions other than your health? Like, can you use it for conditions in your life? Can you use it for money? I hate to say money, but you know, your finances. Can you use it for all these things?
Absolutely. Mom?
Well, yeah, I think that's true, Dan, because I listened to somebody the other day, and he said something very powerful. He said, you know, you look at the men in the Bible, King David, Solomon, Job. I mean, you go through, they were wealthy men. But I think somewhere along the line, in my book, I'm talking a lot about conditioning and brainwashing subtly and all that. And I think that's what may be one of the issues of the church, because I was taught as a little girl that money is bad. I mean, you don't want money because it's evil. Well, money is not evil. The love of money is evil, but not money. People can't do the good that they. Oh my goodness! If somebody gave me $1 million, what I could do, you know? But I don't lust after it. But see, I was programmed that poor people are the better. You know, how do I say that? You know?
Yeah, they're more humble.
Yes, yeah, it's supposed to be a good thing. But if you're open to money, if your energy is expecting money, if you're you just expect blessings, and whatever comes, you thank God for it. If it's a $5 bill, like when my dad's money that he gave us, it wasn't a lot of money, but I was excited. It was from Dad, and it was the beginning. I said, okay, there's more out there. I'm going positive stuff. But I think you can make those changes, Dan. I'm learning how to do it, learning to be thankful for everything we have, whether it's our health, our animals producing, our money coming in, a new job. That can be a real blessing, and it could be a curse, you know, depending on how we use it and how we value it. I want him to teach me wherever I am. I want to be satisfied. Remember Paul? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you can go down that vein of Paul, but what I wanted to say was that, you know, I think that you can come up with some sort of a positive statement. And Louise Hayes taught that you just come up with a positive statement. She's got a whole bunch of them. You can check out her website. She's got a slew that you can find one that fits you. Like, for example, I forgive myself and I set myself free. Like, for example, like say you have sex addiction or something that's, you're very ashamed of. Well, I think that Louise Hay teaches you find a saying and and a positive saying that, I am set free from whatever addiction and God is on my side. Or I don't know, you just come up with something that you can say and say and say and say and say. And apparently the whole universe gets involved in this. Things are rearranged. Your brain is
Wow.
rewired, and you're literally, it responds, and you're reprogramming your brain because you changed your belief about it. So that's
Mhm.
powerful. Go ahead.
Angela, do you know what you're talking about?
Go ahead,
You're
Mono.
talking about you're talking about God's laws. You know, when
Yes.
people talk about God's laws, they think of the Ten Commandments. No, that's part of it because it was directing us to how to treat each other and how to treat Him. But when you really are talking about the energy, the power field, the amazing way we're put together, our structure, the law that holds ourselves together, the law that
Yes.
decides whether we're going to get a cold or the flu. You know, years ago, Angela, I don't know if you remember or not, but I used to get the flu and colds and stuff like everybody else 2 or 3 times a year,
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
I heard something. I heard something. And I don't even remember what it was that I heard, but I heard something that I said, "Wait a minute, I don't believe in that,"
Mm.
and I stopped believing in the flu.
Oh,
Now
that's
I'm
so good.
talking 25 years ago. I don't know. It's been years. I stopped believing in the flu. I stopped believing in getting sick, getting colds. I I don't believe in them. And so when people get
Wow.
around me and they say, "Oh, well, we don't want to, we're afraid we're going to," I said, "You can't give it to me. I don't do that." I
Wow.
believe it's a mindset. I believe that we watch television and they tell us constantly we're going to be sick. You're going to need this
Mm.
drug, that drug. How many of the commercials they're programming people to be sick. I'm sorry,
Yes.
folks. I've lived this. I'm doing it. I just, it's a setup. I'm
Yes.
sorry, but I
Yes.
totally believe this.
You know
And,
what I
and God did not, go ahead, Dan.
You know what I love about all this is, it sounds like, and I could be wrong, but it sounds like, I don't know why the word technology just keeps coming up, but it sounds like it's been around. I'm wondering, is this been around since Noah? Has it been around all throughout history and it's been forgotten? And I guess what I want to say is,
Mm.
AJ, you have a lot more to say about this, about the name. There's more power yet to come, and there's a lot about
Right.
the name coming out right now. We're watching several things. People are talking about this name and what it means. But what I love, AJ, is that you're not letting this treasure die. And you're even bringing it to children at the youngest age, putting this, instilling this in them, instilling hope, instilling um, all that's good. You're putting that in them, and I think that's wonderful.
Yes, and Dan, I want to say one thing about my mom would love this. Louise said this. So if you're giving out a feeling of I'm okay, I'm good as I am, I am acceptable, I love life, I love me, I have gratitude for myself and life. Well, then when you do that, life treats you differently, she says, because you're having a different vibration that you're giving out and getting back. And that's when things really start to flow, she says. Vibration, she's got that, you know?
Yes. And you know what
Well,
I love
you
about what
know,
both you
but
guys are
What?
saying is that it's
What?
not a one-time deal. It's not that's
no.
the false teaching of the church also, that it's just done for you or it's done one time. We need do nothing.
Yes.
Go
Mom,
ahead,
go
AJ.
ahead.
Well, well, one of the things that I really believe in is fasting and prayer.
Mm.
And recently, I was fasting and praying about some stuff. My heart, I was dealing with all that and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with that. And God just opened a door for me that I finally, Angela, I've talked to you about this, realized I had no value of my own. I
Mm.
Wow.
did not. My whole life I have lived with not having any value. And that, I think, was attached to my father leaving.
Ooh,
But
yes.
I got all my value from my children, from my grandchildren, from my art. But so when anything came up that was a problem, like the kids were mad at me, I said something wrong, whatever, I wanted to die.
Yeah.
I had no reason to die, and so my heart started having more and more problems, and I heard myself saying, "Oh, that just broke my heart. She just broke my heart." So anytime any of you kids or my husband would say something, I just wilted, and I didn't want to live.
And Mom,
And
so many women have this problem. Go ahead.
I know. We don't value ourselves, and all of a sudden it hit me like a ton of bricks. And again, very, very grateful. I mean, I was going around here, thank you, Father, thank you, because he took that and helped me find some other things. And I've been going through other things I'm seeing too, but that was a big one.
That
Yay,
is
That was
wonderful.
a big one when I
Angela?
saw that.
And you wanted to say a little something, AJ. Angela, you wanted to say a little something about your mother.
Mom, considering that, you had me when you were so crazy young, and you've done amazing, amazing things in your life, Mom. I mean, I think you're the best portrait artist I've ever seen. Your gifts and your talents, it's just your writing ability and your beautiful voice. You taught me how to harmonize. You've given so much to so many people, and I just want to commend you for that. You're amazing,
And you keep
Mom.
on giving, and you keep on giving.
You're awesome. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
You're
Well,
very
guys,
welcome.
hey, we're going to have to wrap it up tonight. We've really enjoyed this discussion with you, AJ. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
out
you,
with us
Mom.
tonight. And for more information about AJ Cannon, you can visit her website at www.childrenareforever.com, or you can contact her at children@AOL.com.
All right, we'll be back next week with another edition of Heart to Heart Radio Show with Dan and Ann. And to find out when our show can be heard on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit www.xzbn.net. And again, for more information about Heart to Heart Radio, visit hearttoheartradioshow.com or our website, prodigaljourneys.com. And thanks for joining us. Good night.
If you are looking for a safe, zero-calorie natural option to the harmful artificial sweeteners on the market today, Just Like Sugar is what you're looking for. Just Like Sugar is a wonderful natural alternative for those health-conscious people who choose a calorie-restricted diet with a great, pure, sweet flavor that tastes just like sugar. Just Like Sugar is a great natural option for people suffering from diabetes and may be useful in restricted diet programs where standard sugars are not allowed and does not cause a laxative effect of some other sweeteners. Just Like Sugar comprises a perfect blend of chicory root fiber, natural calcium, natural vitamin C, and Just Like Sugar's sweetness comes from the natural flavors from the peel of the orange. Just Like Sugar is a natural alternative to harmful artificial sweeteners and will change the way that you believe all natural sweetener products taste. Just Like Sugar is available at your local Whole Foods markets, Wild Oats markets, Henry's, Sun Harvest, and many other fine natural food stores in the U.S., Canada, and worldwide. They are here, and they've been here for thousands of years, making their presence known in the shadows. They might be seen by a lonely motorist on a deserted road late at night, or by a frightened and confused husband in the bedroom he is sharing with his wife. But who are they? What do they want? Why are they here? Perhaps most concerning, has the government been aware of their presence all along? The new book by Ellie Marzulli, UFO Disclosure, the 70-year cover-up exposed, delves into the world of UFOs. Can full disclosure be soon? Order now and receive a free hour and 37-minute DVD on the UFO phenomenon. UFOs are real. Get both the book and the DVD, a $40 value, for only $19.99. To order your book and DVD today, go to lamarzulli.net. That's LAMARZULLI.net.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.